We'd like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity, your voice in my headset friendship podcast. And today I'm guessing it's going to be kind of behind the scenes, a workshop session, but who knows? We'll see on that. Nora, anything specific you'd like to cover today?
Um, kind of. Maybe if we could touch a little bit on just like how friendships it can be like hard. And how do you best like navigate through that so you
Right.
don't, yeah, the least amount of hurt for everybody involved, I guess.
Right. Um, it's almost like there's a interesting video on energy vampires, and they talk about in there how there's always the one being the vampire and the one that's hosting that person like that is making it a available. like there's there's a giver and a taker, and the giver gets energy by giving and the taker gets energy by taking, and so that works out well for a period of time until it doesn't. And
So if you're the giver, how do you then um like allow yourself to be the receiver? Because it's like as a giver, it's just like, well, I'll just figure it out. Like I'll just figure it out on my own, like I've had to or whatever. So it's hard to then receive help because you're just like, I'll just figure it out myself. Like I got myself in this situation, I'll just figure it out by myself, if that makes sense.
it does. I think that if you're surrounded by a bunch of other people who are givers too, um, and you're not used to that, that's interesting. But often the person that's taking, how do you help that person? And what's weird about it is it's often strange. Well, here's the energy vampires, and so there's um seven of them. So the victim, the downer, the narcissist, the manipulator, the controller, the split personality, and purely attention seeker. And so, like, like it would seem to me that if you've got a big light vision, that you got to have a lot of time and energy go into that vision. Like that thing is going to just it's like a baby. I mean, it needs a lot. Where these other three need a lot too, but is it really looking for something significant, or is it just about consumption? I mean, when you look at at this. And you look at the white paper library, the first white paper in the library is what's in it for me. The concept of selfless selfishness. How do you be selfless, selfish in a selfless way? And, I can't get people to read this, much less internalize, even if they do. So everything we're doing is selfish. And so what that does is it eliminates the self-righteousness. So often the amiable, not always, but often the amiable, it's crazy. I mean, it's when you see this, when you start seeing this stuff happen, you're just like, you got to be kidding. I mean, I just had this happen with one of the family members where they're like, Mark, you'd like this. So we'll do it this way. But it wasn't for me, it was for them. They wanted it a certain way. Like they wanted it a certain way. And they said, Mark, you'll like it this way. And it's like, and I just correct them. I said, actually, I'm fine with it this way or this way or this way, but you're not doing it for me. You're doing it for you, which again is I'm fine doing it for you. But what's weird is the amiable personality, everything in their mind, they're always doing, they think for somebody else. They've tricked themselves into thinking that they're this super, super nice person. And they're not. They're not any nicer than anybody else. And so, like writing this book, man, is it hard.
What's the hardest part about it?
It feels like there's so much at stake. I mean, like Nora and I were just talking to, doing, I had a conversation with a gentleman 9 years ago. His 18-year-old son died of suicide. And he had over 200, he had ADD, ADHD. He had over 200 friends that said he came and protected them from being bullied and other stuff like that. And so it's literally a nonprofit about friendship because and in honor of his son. But his son seemed like when you think of it, if you had one level 4 friend, if you had one level 4 friend, would you ever commit suicide? I mean, if you had a clear life vision that you had hope in, would you ever commit suicide? And if you had somebody else that was there with you, and so the hardest part is it's the heaviness of it. It's like people, they don't know how to create friendships, and neither do I. It seems pretty. So there's all of it's so complex. And there's so much data, Nora. There's so much, like, I don't know what to put first. I don't know what to put second. I don't know what to put third. Like one of the things that is brand new, and is this just a new toy that I'm interested in? Or is this really what I thought it was the first time I heard about it? And it's what I've been looking for decades. And the 5 hazardous attitudes. And so we try not to name names here. So if you think we're talking about you, we probably are. And if there's 10 of you out there that they're talking about me, we're probably talking about all 10 of you. But there's a young man, and it's just, I've invested 3 years into his life, and the poor guy, and in these 5 areas, I think I would rate him a 7 to a 10, a 7 to a 10 in all of these: high, anti-authority, macho, impulsive, and vulnerability and resignation. And I told Nora when she introduced these to me, I'm like, is this really what I think it is? Like, why'd you wait 4 months, girl? Like this, this, like Mary, she'd ask, like Mary's question just, it burns within me. Maybe because I have 4 daughters and 6 granddaughters. Maybe because I know a lot of women. Maybe because the male gene pool is getting weaker. I don't know. But when Mary said, how does a woman know what she's really getting when she marries? That's one. And two is she says, how do you go ahead and work to get a level 4, and how do you keep them? And then she pointed, like, I am so thankful for Mary being involved in this, because it's like, this is, and then Nora and I did podcast with Tom, and it's like he said something to Nora, because she's like, releasing it, it's raw, it's vulnerable, it's so easy to be misunderstood, and so you don't, and Tom said something and it helped her to see, like he said, you want to get different people's perspectives on it, because they'll say something or something and it'll give you an idea, but it's like, do you go ahead and have, there's another young man that, and he rated his on a 1 to 10, and most of them were 3s and 4s, and I'm like, I don't know, I see that a little different. Like, and so one, it's so complex, Nora. Like the amount of energy, like I can't even write in here because at times, because I don't have everything in alignment, I need the flow to be there. And there's this distraction and this distraction and this here, and doesn't seem to be working here. What am I writing about? Like, how is this? And I know that's just part of the process. I get it, but like it's theoretic. What I want from this, what you and I want from this, I think, is we want to transform people's lives, and we want it to stick. And so it's almost like a roller coaster. Like they have chains and they belts, and they pull they pull the roller coaster up, and then all of a sudden they let it go and they have free fall, and then they pull it up, and then they have ratchets that prevent it from falling backwards where it's not supposed to go. And it's like, so it feels overwhelming to me. It feels like it's way beyond my pay grade. And I don't know how to help other people understand they can do any work. Like when you all can interrupt me, like I'll keep going. Like when I look at the friendship stuff, I'm like there's all this stuff on friendship, and it's like, and I would think, but people are so freaking lazy. Like, do you want to have a level 4? Do you want a friendship with Mark? If you do, read the whole thing. Like somebody did a lot of work. Like they've got a lot of thought about friendships. This is decades of thought. And this has been up, I think, for 3-4 years. So because I've been through this journey before, but it's never been this rough. It's never been this hard.
What do you
Mary,
think the difference is this time?
um, so Jonathan's death 5 years ago. What I see going on in the world, my kids, where my kids are at, where I see other people, and I have a better understanding on how one decision like I see how I invest, like Jim Bontrager, like he nailed it. I mean, he nailed that bad boy. Like he went ahead, the guy who did this, he nailed it for me. Nora needs to call him and like put another chapter in there, Jim. Like he saw so much, he went ahead and said, Mark, I understand why you don't mind losing friends. I'm like, okay, I'll bite. Why? He's like, you just take the energy, you take energy from one friend and you can invest three more people. Like you'll get three friends out of it rather than one. You put so much into people and they don't appreciate it because they don't work. All they do is it's just consumption. It's just enjoyment. They do what they love doing. And it's superficial surface, so they don't have any strength. Mary, questions, thoughts? What would you like to accomplish?
I'm not sure. My thoughts are all over. My emotions right now are kind of high, so I don't know.
I'm with you. So it's like in college, they have 100 level courses, 200 level, 300 level, 400 level courses. It's just like in grade school, they teach you addition and then subtraction, then multiplication, and then division. And so um like I wonder if you go ahead, I wonder if it's a lot like having children. Where if you knew the pain, that would come with children, would you go ahead and still have children? And most parents would say yes. But it makes no sense. It makes no sense. It's like you invest 30 years into your son and then he's gone, he's dead. But he's not, he's forever with me. And so level 4, it's like, is that where the most pain is? I had a breakthrough this last week. I figured out the amiable, they flip level 1 and 2 and 3. See, what I do is, this is me, I irritate people. But the amiable skips over irritation and they go ahead and have level 1 and this is how they are for them. People will like them and people will love them. And I think Nora does that too. I think I wonder if she does, this level 1 and then people love her and then they just like she is their identity. I don't know. Like she is their identity. And so she loves it because she has a new identity. She's impacting somebody significant. She just loves it. But then it's for a season and then she just gets tired of carrying them. I mean, I've noticed that. Like I told, Andrew, who said that he was a friend of mine. Izzy. And I said, if I get bored with somebody, then I'm just like, and what causes me to get bored? It's when they stop learning. That's why I love small children. Because they're always learning. They're always learning, they're always growing up until they don't. And so I wonder if I have a built-in mechanism here where I go ahead and put this here, because of the 24 years I invested and then got kicked out. I'm like, I'm going to put this in here and I'm going to irritate people. Like, I'm going to irritate them. And if they can go ahead and make it through this phase, then we get to this phase. Now, what I'm trying to do with Nora is skip all three of these. So we went, I think it was 4 months, I think, mostly without her irritating, without friction. There was hurt, but the hurt came from past, mostly to me. I was the one hurt mostly. And Nora went ahead and absorbed that pain, even though she had nothing to do with it. Elaine, thoughts, questions you have?
Well, a lot of thoughts. Not sure if I make sense here, but going back to what you were saying earlier, with the other diagram you showed us, I guess I'm curious as to how can people, how can you push through certain things, and how can you change, like how can the attitude change that it stays changed? Because a lot of those attitudes I've seen, I think all of them, and I've seen the antidote happening, but how do you make it so that you don't have the attitude, I guess?
So I wonder if it goes back to when I was in counseling for Rosanna's, or for my wife's stuff on the abuse. And the guy said, when you've been deeply hurt, Mark, like it might never go away. It might come every 3 to 5 years. And that's what it did. Until Jonathan's death 35 years later. And that seemed to go ahead and fix it. So it just took something so painful that it just made all the other pain, that all kind of went away-ish. And so it's almost like an addict, Elaine. It's almost like an addict. Where it's almost like it's never going to go away. It just won't. You will always be anti-authority. You'll always be macho. You'll always be impulsive. You'll always be invulnerable. You'll always be, you'll always have resignation. It's going to be, the question is it going to control you, or are you going to go ahead and seek to control it? And I think when you get married, especially, it seems like to me, but maybe it's just because I'm a man, but especially it seems like to me that women are more vulnerable to this. It seems like they have less options to deal with this than men do. And
Why
what I
is
mean,
that?
well, because as a husband, I can go ahead, and if my wife is like this, well, I can go around her and go into business. or I can do, business or other types of things. It seems like men have more freedoms where a wife, a woman, like if I go ahead and, somebody, friend, like when I had two really close friends that I thought were level 4 friends and they were gone, my wife like teared up and she's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, why? She's like, because you lost 2 friends. I'm like, that's fine. And what happened, I think, is I grew and they didn't, they stopped. So I think it's easier for a man to go outside the marriage and say, you know what, I'm going to find this in other places, where a wife is she almost can't, especially if she's raised Baptist or Amish. If you're raised very, very conservative Christian, or maybe very conservative anything, the wife can't grow beyond where the husband's at. She just can't. She's wired from birth, from a little girl. She is wired to go ahead and do that. Maybe. This is all theory. It's a working session. We don't think that I know what I'm talking about. I do.
Do you think it's not so much the attitude as much as how quickly you can see yourself being in the attitude and then applying the antidote to it?
Yep. Yeah, it's self-awareness. It's just self-awareness. It's being able to have people in your life and saying, hey, you're a goofball. Hey, this is what you're doing. And so having people in your life, more than one person, and having people that have the courage and the willingness and care about you enough to go ahead and say, hey, it seems like you're going down this path again. So I think I've gotten lost in my vision.
Okay. What does that mean?
Like it's the safest place for me to be. I mean, if I'm working on models, it's like spreadsheets, like they're faithful. Like if I'm working on models, if I'm working on trying to figure something out, if I'm writing something, if I'm doing all of those things, it's like I've been lost in my vision. Like it's like I can't get other people, even people close to me, even my own family, like I can't get them to, like, do you not understand? And I can't get people to understand the importance of identity, like vision, like you were created to be something amazing. Like Jim, he saw it. And he sees it. The 2.5-minute video it's a masterpiece. So I just get lost in my vision, and I because there's so much energy that goes into because it's almost like a level 4 friend. It's almost like it can be intoxicating, a black hole, where because it seems like you're learning and growing so much. It's new. It's like young love. It's like fascination. And if that person continues to grow and you continue to grow, it will, in theory, it will happen. The rest of your life. Because you both grow together. It's the antithesis of the song. It's like I was hoping we would rise together. Like I'm hoping we can rise together, but I know statistically, any female friends, there's a high probability that either they're going to stop growing or their husband is, and either they're going to submit to him or they're just going to go ahead and decide this is where we want to fly. We don't want to fly any higher. We just fly at this altitude. We're safe here. Everything's safe. It's like, okay, well, glad I got a pool of 8 billion. Anything else, Nora, you got?
I don't think so.
Elaine, anything else you got?
Nope.
Mary, anything else you got?
No.
So it, like Patrick at pickleball today, he said, was Wednesday's session really good? I'm like, weren't you there? He's like, oh yeah. I'm like, so did you think it was really good? He's like, well, I don't count. Like, okay. I said, I thought it was really good, but I said, like Patrick, it might take 100 or 1,000 podcasts to really get, one that's just, he's like, really? I'm like, oh yeah. And so how do we, like, if you're married, and I think women resonate more towards this than men. 3 women and 1 guy. Like, And so I think women, it's like it's almost wired in them to go ahead and have a desire to have this. And so if you're married, how do you get your husband or wife, how do you get them to participate in this? And then if, Mary was asking for a young woman. So could a young woman say, I'm going to go through this. We're going to go through this together. And if you're not willing to go through this with me, and we're going to have conversation, like, what'd you think? Like, is it fair for her to go ahead and say, or if somebody says to me, Mark, I know I haven't been a good steward of your 7Ts. Okay. I won't disagree with that. But would you be willing to help me more? And it's like, so my normal response is, sure, what else am I going to do with my life? Yeah, like, why not? Absolutely. Of course. I've already spent 3 years. It's fine. But it's like, so is it fair for me to say, yeah, I'll do that, but you need to go ahead and read this chapter? Like, it's almost like I'll put in an hour, 2 hours, 10 hours. Literally, I'll put in 10 hours of work. And all they have to put in is 15 minutes, and they won't put in 15 minutes. It's like, really? So it's almost like if they don't do the work, then they don't appreciate it. It's the same concept of not giving your kids cars, making them work for their car, because if they work for their car, then they're going to appreciate it. And so Nora is willing to put in the hard work for friendships. Like, I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to take massive risk in this. This is a very risky project for me. And I'm willing to make some like huge sacrifice. And Nora is too. And Elaine and Mary, they're actually showing up and they're actually doing it. And so they're willing to do it too. And so we do all of this work and people come along and all they want is the benefit. It's like that little red hen or whatever. And You know, nobody wants to help her do any of the work. But when the bread's ready, then everybody wants to go ahead and everybody's like, yeah. And so the workhorses just do all the work and the other people come and benefit. And the workhorses are like, it's okay because I'm a workhorse. Like, but are we hurting people because we won't make them do the work? So I think that's where I'm leaning. This is where I'm leaning. I'm leaning when somebody says, I want to be a friend with you, Mark, I'm leaning to say, okay, go to this website and go through it. You know, I don't know, spend 10, 15 minutes, tell me what you think. Because you don't understand what friendship means to Mark Borsma. You just don't. You do not understand. You just don't. You do not. You just don't. And so like it's almost as sacred as my marriage vows. Maybe it is. I don't know. And maybe I need people around me to enforce those rules onto people. Maybe it's not just me. Maybe somebody needs to say, Mark, you know, you have so much to give and you give so much, but you have to make people work harder. And if they're not willing to work harder, you don't give them the benefits that come with a level 4. You don't give them you don't give them the benefits that come with a level 4. So there's benefits in level 1, there's benefits in level 2, there's benefits in level 3, and then there's benefits in level 4. And what you're doing, Mark, is you're giving level 4 benefits to people that are in level 1 or 2. I don't know. Fascinating. So I appreciate you guys' faithfulness. That means a lot to me. So I have a meeting at 3. So I might ask that. Who wants to be a level 4 friend with me? and see and see who raises their hand. Like who says yeah. Or maybe I ought to lead with who would like the benefits of a level 4 friendship with me, with Mark Borsma? Like who would like the benefits of a level 4 friend? And see if people resonate and understand, like, holy cow, there's a lot of benefits that come with a level 4. Holy cow. And then after that, then, okay, do you think you're willing to go ahead and invest what's required to become a level 4? And I'm pretty confident that I will put in 10 times, 100 times what they will put in. With most, maybe 99 out of 100 people. Maybe more than that. And so, and that's okay if they're putting in what they can put in. Like if that's what they can put in, but they need to understand Mark's putting in 100 times what I am. So don't whine, don't be a victim, don't do the 5 hazardous attitudes. Don't do that. So yeah, it's definitely a working session. Anything else, ladies?
Not that I have.
Nora's got a new business idea, you know, a little goodie powder. It has no drugs in it, just ibuprofen and caffeine and
Tylenol.
Tylenol. So, yeah, no. And
I thought you were gonna bring up the concrete and framing business idea that I had. I thought that's where you were going with this business idea.
go with that.
Okay. Hey, go big or go home.
Right, right,
Two birds with one stone.
right.
What is this concrete framing business about?
Oh, Elaine will love it.
So you
Are you
always
like,
you always want to come early and you always want to stay late. Because if you think what's on this one is interesting, boy, you ought to come before we start recording or after we stop recording. Because that's where the real cool stuff happens. So we're gonna stop the recording now, and then that's where the cool stuff really starts.